Pawn's been flying around as her already. She looks great in Smite 2. She got updated.
Okay,
card art,
let's
updated
see what
ability
Amma does.
icons, so you can see a bit of that card art update
Shall
in
we?
the avatar image at the bottom left and on the mini map and the team bar. So then let's just talk about the kit changes, or I forget how we do.
We'll just fire off the abilities.
Yeah, fire off all the
let's just
abilities.
get the demo first.
We'll talk about
See
it.
how people notice stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Oh baby,
That was cool.
That is a huge stun.
Real Amma fans see that one right away.
Yep.
all right.
All right, so let's get into kind of what changed between Smite 1 and Smite 2 for Amaterasu.
All right, so the new features for Amaterasu in Smite 2 are
So
first
big.
on her
Ooh.
ability 1, Divine Presence.
Okay.
So now there's an additional buff that players will get when the buff is activated. So you can see in the 2 bullet points, the gold buff will provide a health
I'm not sure
shield
about that one,
for
Dappa.
6 seconds and the persistent movement speed aura.
Okay.
And the red buff will provide a attack speed buff for 6 seconds and the persistent int and strength aura. So like we wanted to
Sheesh.
do something with the
And it
AO1
scales with your
to
int and
make it a little
strength.
bit more meaningful when you activated it.
Yeah.
So instead of just kind of spamming it on cooldown for the heal, or instead of kind of just like toggling it and leaving it in movement speed mode because that's OP, it still is OP. So it's still probably the right decision in some places. But we wanted to actually reward the Amaterasu players who were actually changing stances. And then, so what it is, it's an instant AoE that hits you and your teammates at the moment you change stance.
Okay.
So if you hit a bunch of allies, you will give them this little health shield. It's a relatively small health shield, but it does scale
That's
off
pretty
of
cool.
Amma's max health. So if you're building more full tank Amma, which she can kind of be played as a fringe support, you're going to give people
Gem
a
of
bigger
focus,
shield, and she
yeah.
also gets the shield as well.
Yeah.
Or when you're when you switch to red stance, you will give yourself and all allies around you an attack speed aura. So instead of just toggling to it early, you wait until everyone's grouped around the fire giant, then activate it, so you can get that attack speed burst and the int and strength burst from the AO1 aura. The other interesting thing about this AO1 aura on the red stance is that int and strength buff now scales up with intelligence.
Okay.
So if you build a tank and int aura, if you build like a tanky or intelligence build Amaterasu, you will get a better strength and int aura to give to your allies.
Yeah, I can see that. This is a temper.
And we've already seen some in the flash tests and ambassador testing, like full int Amma gets like crazy numbers. Like you can build full int Amma and you can do decent damage. You'll be squishy. Your basic attacks won't be good, but you'll give your teammates, what was it, like I think like 100.
Yeah, it does, Brandon.
That's
how I
int.
play with.
Yeah.
And like 100 strength
Yeah.
from the aura just being next to them.
It's probably still a short
So you can
cooldown
kind
kill.
of be like it's like a completely new playstyle for the character. So she is I forgot to do like the high level intro stuff, but she deals only physical damage, but she does have strength and int scaling.
Okay.
So she will play her traditional basic attack solo laner bruiser build very well still, but we kind of give her some new options for scaling that involve a more support style through tankiness and intelligence.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So that's the difference on her ability
Just
1.
play Amma
Passive,
Ares and
it
just
works the
group
same
as a
Smite
team
1.
and you'll be
3 attacks,
so
making an
freaking
AoE
strong.
aura that makes people
All the
take damage
auras.
from all sources.
Nice.
Those are all the changes on the AO1. Good admitted. That's where a lot of the changes are. AO2, now the mitigations she gets while the mirror is charging scales up with intelligence. And the mirror damage also scales with strength and intelligence. Actually scales higher off intelligence. So if you're full int Amma, your mirror shots become like actual like mage abilities.
Are your damage. All right.
Not
Damn.
quite actual mage abilities.
My
I guess that's
God.
it's a little higher than the
Yeah.
strength version.
Yeah.
The charge, as in Smite 1, only doubles the base damage when you charge it up, so you can't like super double quadra scale the mirror with int and the full charge. But it makes them meaningful, and it makes it that kind of like we did with Chalk and Odin. Like you have to be able to still deal damage with those int builds. It can't be pure utility.
That
scaling
2
or it's not
cooldown is
really good
broken.
enough.
Yeah.
And one other thing is there's a feels change on this one, which is we've
Quite a
allowed
bit,
this to be
Epic.
fired lot
Quite
more
a
quickly.
bit.
There's some inconsistencies in Smite 1.
Another
that
Triton
we've
bees are
worked to
true.
resolve in Smite 2.
True,
so
true.
I can pretty reliably just quick fire this, which feels really, really good in practice. It lets you have a lot more control over this effect, which feels really nice.
Yeah, if you're looking for that, the enemy's getting away, you need that last second, last hit, you just fire it off real quick and have that.
That's cool. That was always annoying having to try and click 2 again.
Ability
on
3,
Amma.
not really
my one.
any changes to ability 3. It's the silence. It's a line attack silence before, and then damage and stop on god.
Victoria has more
dash
int scaling than her brother
afterwards.
being a god of storms.
We've preserved most of the most recent.
Yeah, it
tech
is
that
weird that Suso
Amaterasu
doesn't have
has
any.
in Smite 1 for this, so that's this faster timings. There's no self roots. She can fully aim and rotate during the whole thing. So you like if you really swing it fast, I think you can even just like, oh no, it all fires at the same time now, so you can't desync the. Yeah, that's the way it works in Smite 1. We iterated through a couple possible changes here, but we didn't like it. So this one effectively works like what you're used to in Smite 1.
Awesome.
And the ultimate has
Not yet.
the last
Probably talking about our
new
next one.
feature, which is the 3rd attack of the ultimate. Now hits a big circle sweep attack.
Yeah, the full swing.
Yeah. So you have to hit a god, just like Smite 1, you have to hit a god for it to progress to the next, or not a god, have to hit a target for it to progress to the next stance. It's going to do increasing damage from the 1st, the 2nd, to 3rd hit. It's going to do
Stuns everyone in that.
just damage, and then damage plus slow,
What the-
and then damage
what
plus
did he just
stun
do?
on the 3rd hit. But now this 3rd hit is that full circle
Can you
sweep.
dash in
It
it?
is a little bit longer animation time.
You should be able to dash
so
in it.
Maybe is a little bit of a trade-off in just chasing down and executing just
Guarantee
one
their dash
targeted
will be
god.
bugged?
Yeah.
Probably
It'll
not.
slow you down a little bit, but it
I doubt it.
bolsters her team fight presence
For sure.
a lot, and kind of a few
Might
of
be
the
other
other changes
aspects
we
of her
made here
get
was
bugged, but-
to kind of let Amma. She always did that anyway. She was kind of like a. She might struggle a little bit in the early game or need the jungle to come by a few more times than another solo laner, but then you get to the mid to the late game, she's like a powerhouse.
Yeah, she pops off.
So we're really leaning into making sure her team fight in Smite
Oh,
2 is,
dude,
like,
the
really
noise.
memorable, and that's kind of like what sets her aside from the other warriors, the other
That's-
solo
that's
laners.
nice.
They don't all feel
Tempo of the-
too similar. So
Yeah, of
we're
course.
really trying
Changes.
to
I mean,
make
it already
her
did that, but
unique
it
features
feels
shine.
like-
So that's essentially really playing up those AOE buffing effects.
Yeah.
Through new skill related timing on the AO1 and scaling it through build, and then this larger conditional CC that she can really
Being
use
second
to
and third to
change
get in
the
front of them
whole
before
team fight in a
swing.
way she
It's a
can-
good idea.
Yeah.
Sheesh,
There it is.
like
I
that.
was just thinking the combat blink for the 3rd hit into the middle of the team goes incredibly hard. And all of that isn't even a commentary on how beautiful this looks, or like Amaterasu looks moved into Smite 2. Like obviously our team has done a lot of work to bring the character from that old engine into the new engine, and the effects look beautiful and the character looks beautiful. So
Yeah, the shield's nice and gold like the sun.
Yeah.
Also, her clothing has like actual like the clothing's a missive itself, which is cool.
that is really cool.
The mirror is golden now, as well. I mean, did you just say that? Sorry. There was something. Sorry, there was something else I was gonna say. Now I forgot it. It's okay.
Yeah, it does. These
But,
spirits cool.
Yeah, we're trying to keep a lot of the Smite
Yeah,
1
it is
parity
epic.
here. A
This
lot
is
of Smite
live.
1 feels, the polish things you're
We'll
used
do it
to, but
live.
Just add some unique things here in a few key places to really make the character work. Oh, the passive meter. Did you touch on that? It's like it's updated art, but it still functionally shows what you're used to. It shows the stance you're in,
Thank you for the resub, app. I appreciate it, bro.
and it shows the mirror charge.
Welcome back to the Fonta
Well,
family.
it looks
Oh,
like it might be.
it's all of a sudden it's broken. Maybe we cooldown cheated it too many.
Yeah, I think I cooldown cheated it too much, unfortunately.
It will
Okay,
show.
that'll
Don't worry
happen.
about that.
Just dev things.
Just dev things.
Was there anything else?
Was there anything else? That was going to be my question for you. Because otherwise, we do
I
have
think
another god.
we shortened a little bit of the post fire on the dash. So if you dash into a god, the time you can start attacking is faster.
Okay.
Another thing I just want to get ahead of on the dash is like we currently have some god body blocking bug that we are aware of that we're still looking into fixes. Not for this patch, but probably a future patch. But it can result in, if Amma's right on top of someone, you might feel like you're going to hit them, but you dash through them. Which I know
Oh
is something that people,
no!
like, historical complaint about this goddess they really want us to fix.
No
So
way!
you might experience that. It is known.
Who said that?
I think it has to do with the god body blocking issue, not so much the Amma
Who
dash
said
issue.
that?
Okay.
So you might encounter that rarely, or at certain gods like.
Who said that it
Lord
was
Ruth
still
is,
gonna
like,
be bugged? And I
his,
said I don't
interact
think so.
dash,
Yeah.
things like that are really tight on collision and people dashing through each other. You might like feel like you dash through someone, but it is like overall. I think really clean upgrade of the character.
There's
And a
no
lot
shot.
of these pain points we were aware of in Smite 1 we're hyper aware of in Smite 2 and making sure we don't reintroduce and make sure those bugs are fixed.
Awesome. Well, and as always, too, we'll be looking for y'all's feedback once this goes live. We're looking for people to play
Oh,
Amma.
that's so
You know,
true.
if you have that bug, let us know so we can continue looking at those instances.
It was
and why
Wiggy
happened.
Matt. It was
But otherwise,
Wiggy
just let us know
Matt,
how the character
dude.
feels, especially if you played Amma a lot.
spoke
in
it
Smite
into
1.
existence.
Knowing how this
Yeah.
character feels in Smite 2 is going to be really helpful for us because we can continue to refine that experience and stick to the strictly better mantra that we have lived by over here in the world of Smite 2. But that's not the only god that we have coming here. We have Nuah as well joining the Smite 2 crew.
Yep.
So yeah,
This god's got a lot of new stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
too.
Nuah, we
Amaterasu was
perfect.
perfect. She didn't really need anything, but we wanted to give it to her anyway, right?
Yeah, just because we love her.
But
But Nuah got some like as correct me if I'm wrong, as the most played god in Smite.
That is true. As of
Yeah.
the most recent stats, Nuah is the most played, the most individual play minutes total in Smite 1.
Yeah.
Dedicated to Nuah. More than Neith,
But
more than Kukulkan.
Yeah, crazy to think of,
The
right?
most played character in the game by the most fair way of measuring that. you know.
Yeah. But, we looked at that and said, that's cool. We still think that we can make some really fun,
Yeah, they nerfed
impactful
Thunder.
changes, and that's what we have here. So are we able to, you good for us to hop in game?
Yeah, we can hop in game. I'll just show
Simple
off
code,
some
if on
stuff.
3 dash.
A lot of the,
Dash
a lot of the
hitbox
stuff
interacts with enemy god.
might not be as obvious, but
Hitbox,
we'll
then
go
she
into
stops.
them again.
Yeah, again,
It's
true,
really that
true
simple, isn't it?
Nuah fans might notice, but we'll talk
All right,
about it in just a
Nuah,
sec.
let's see what
the
they
let's
did.
get-
Let's just do this first.
let's
Okay.
get- let's get them.
AoE root. Minions dash. Didn't change the ult at all.
Effects.
We're just gonna keep walking
Which is
backwards
criminal?
Here. Man, I'm still hitting from really far away.
What the hell?
Oh,
That's wild.
I wonder what did that.
Wonder what did that. That's weird.
All right, well, let's start talking
Was that her
about it.
ult?
So what is new with Nuah?
Okay, so Nuah
Dude, look at her
mainly
hips.
has
She moving.
Nuah.
Epic,
Nuah
thanks
really
for 3
wants
months.
to
You're welcome
focus
back to the
now,
Fonzo family. I
on
appreciate
the
that.
kind of 5 strengths of the elements that she has within her kit. So
it.
that's wood, that's water, that's earth, that's metal, and that's fire.
Epic
And
has
each
joined
one
the
now
Fonzo
has
family.
some
Welcome.
adjustments
Thank you,
to it.
Epic.
So the first one is Strength of Wood. That was her original passive where
X makes
after
me
5
sub,
auto
and then you
attacks,
sub.
her
Here
next
we
auto
go.
attack would root. That's now cooldown based. So after 15 seconds, your next attack
Hello.
will just immediately fire and it
Hello.
will root. So you can see that was that there, and it's building up.
Nice.
Every successful auto attack will jump that up more and more. So as you successfully auto attack more and more, you'll get that more and more frequently, and
Yeah.
you'll be able to root again. That's
Get both.
Yes. So that's its first change. It has some interactions with the other parts of the kit. We'll go through each individual strength, and I'll kind of show you how they combine.
All right.
The next
This is
strength is Strength
new
of Water.
Nuah.
So this is the strength that she gets when she's used her fog ability. And this one is just a buff that she and her allies get. They get her move speed, and you can see that it actually persists quite a bit outside of that.
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
The hell?
That one is more just kind of this buff that she brings, not too much different than what we saw before.
This is a shout out to the old. There's a couple hidden things here. Shout outs to her old kit, her old kit.
Yes. The second one is Strength of Earth. Strength of Earth is granted, and you can see your passive meter updates as she gets each of these strengths.
Yeah.
Strength of Earth. Previously, these minions, when they charge and locked onto a target and dashed at them, ignore that they're
AoE.
doing some stuff with cooldowns. They'll do some weird things with cooldowns. But it used to be that charge would give a penetration to the target. It would actually shred their armor. She now just gets Strength of Earth, which grants her immediately pen that she can use on anyone.
Okay.
It's no longer tied to the minions actually having to attack someone.
Yeah.
She just gets that benefit out the box.
And did you mention that
Okay.
on Mysterious Fog? If allies step through it, they get
Yeah,
the movement speed
we
buff
did.
for the duration. Okay, sorry. I'm reading chat, so I'm just like double checking if anything
Nope.
was missed.
All good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So those would just allow the movement speed buff and that penetration just makes it a lot more accessible.
Yeah.
Now, the next biggest change is going to be on Shining Metal. You fire it, it does the things you expect. It blows up the minions that charge forward. It does the things that you know. But you can see that I actually have a Strength of Metal buff.
Yeah.
And with Strength of Metal, it turns my auto attacks into AoE auto attacks.
Oh, that's so cool.
So this opens up, just immediately opens up a whole bunch of different build varieties. But
Yeah.
two of the main things are each successful
AoE
auto attack
crit?
lets Strength of Wood come up sooner, which includes the
Which AoEs?
the AoE
So you're triple
AoE root.
stacking the
Yes.
speed of the root.
Okay. I
you're
saw
getting
that.
the root a lot more quickly, and it will spread the root itself. So that's how I was able to root all the other Ymirs around.
Yeah.
And it's people are asking if you have the root charged, does it consume on fire or on hit?
It consumes on fire.
On fire. Okay, so it still consumes on fire. When your root is up, you got to make your next attack count.
Yeah,
If
don't
you
miss.
miss.
You miss, you miss.
It's gone.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, chat wanted clarification. Thank you, Bon.
And then the final one, which is after you ult, you get Strength of Fire. The ult works very similarly. It does damage, globally reveals targets, hits everyone on the map. But now I have Strength of Fire, and this now turns my auto attacks into very, very long range auto attacks.
Sheesh, she can be
I want to
sniping
say
people.
it's something along the lines of like 40% or 50% larger. Like
That's
it's
bananas.
significant. Like
Yeah.
how far I have to
Nerf
actually
rally,
walk
he
forward to
always
start hitting
misses.
this Ymir
Kind
again.
of like your chat messages,
now-
Zuba.
So now the cool
Our
thing-
powers combined.
So if you were to do things like Strength of Earth,
She's got some cool
ults,
changes.
You get the pen for this ult, which is really, really good. And now you 3, you now have super long range AoE auto
Artillery.
attacks.
Oh
could
my
root if you hit
God.
people and throw that out. These
Oh,
all
man.
stack on top of each other. So
That is
the
cool.
base kit largely functions identical. You have the standard combo that everyone really likes to use. You have the
Yeah.
fog.
Okay,
you
I
have the
take- I
minions
mean,
into
they
the
could have picked
explosion
something else
combo,
with their ult,
you
to
got
be
the
fair,
global
but
ult. But now you just have this whole new
still
loop
looks
layered
cool.
on top of the in hands.
Yeah.
And you get to do a lot of really neat
Dude,
things.
they're only
combining
cooking with
these different
mages,
effects.
it seems.
It's very reminiscent of old WoW.
Yeah.
Old WoW had a lot of these different in-hand augmenting things, and so we tried to take a lot of that inspiration and bring it onto this kit to give her kind of a loop within her gameplay loop. That it's gonna be interesting to see how people flex with, if in-hand builds become really good with her, or if these are just really nice bonuses to have as you're just playing standard new WoW.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. And like you said, crazy that so many old WoW features look similar in new WoW.
I think I am
back and forth all
full-blown
the time,
doomer
but
for the
it's a whole
time
other layer of
being.
the gameplay, which I think
Says
is exciting.
Weekend.
And I mean, I'd like to see this make her a little more competitively viable as well. You know, I think
Everything
that
is
being able to,
shittier,
like, really learn the
enjoy.
finesse
Also,
of all the
everything that was
different
OP is
in-hands
still OP,
will help
and
this
everything that was
character
shit is
shine,
still
in a
shit.
totally different light while still being
What
super
the
accessible
hell?
to newer players.
Yep.
So.
Some additional, maybe just notes on top of that.
Please.
At least right now, I believe
I wonder
we
if you
are
can hit
going to
towers
let
with that
these
extended
gods
auto.
into ranked immediately. No
Open the
ban
doors.
window. We know people want more gods, so
Yeah.
why would we ban ones in ranked that we just released for you?
Yeah.
Right? If there are any major bugs, they might be temporarily
Major bugs.
disabled.
Why did
But
Ajax say it like
the
that?
goal is out the gate is to let them immediately enter the draft pool
Yeah, I doubt
for
it hits
ranked
towers,
Conquest.
Vincent.
That makes sense.
because we know people are hungry for that.
Yeah, we know
I
we all
doubt
want more
it.
gods, and we're trying to get them.
Oh
to
my
you.
god,
Yeah,
auto
we
attack,
don't.
let's
I
see
don't
it.
have too much other concrete evidence, things to talk about on that, but I did want to shout it out. So
that makes sense.
So thanks, Dandy. But we're seeing a lot of discussion about the gods and which ones you want. We appreciate all of you having those conversations. We're not going to make any official announcements right now, but we are seeing that feedback. We're taking it to heart. We are looking at which gods we might be able to do sooner versus later, how we might be able to get even more out faster. All those types of things are in progress. We are working towards those.
Yeah.
The spoiler
You
list
want with
that's been
AoE
going around
crits?
is not fully accurate.
Her autos don't seem
even
as
before we
easy to
started
hit though,
making
right?
planning changes, it was not fully accurate. It was not that far off, but it wasn't fully accurate. So
Yeah.
we are, taking that seriously.
No god that can hit towers. It's just
We're
saying.
making
X-ball?
3-week patches, so 2 gods through 3 weeks is a
Yeah, but hers
relatively quick
seem
pace. But we're going to see if
extended,
we
like,
can do
you
it
can-
faster. Like we're going
do
to
it for a
do
while.
our best to do that.
We're always listening to y'all's major feedback points, and we are trying to action them. Like, that's the funny thing about spoilers is spoilers might like, it's like, oh wow, I found the spoiler, but it's like things change here like weekly, almost daily. It feels like.
Do
so
all minions explode,
we are
stuns,
constantly reacting to
towers,
your
and
Our
phoenixes?
whole
It says so in the
philosophy
notes.
and
What?
strategy was to build this game with the community.
Yes.
So like we are open to change. The game changed a lot between true alpha weekends and closed alpha 1.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And now that we're in closed alpha 1, we're working towards free to play, and we have a different player base coming in again to give us more feedback, and we are going to keep pivoting as we need.
That sounds
So
kind of
we're
OP.
going to try to make every god feel exciting every release.
For sure.
And we're going to try to make
like old
as many as we can,
Flame
as
Strike or
fast as we
old
can, without
Rocket,
making
old
major
Nuah.
mistakes.
Yeah, without like making the game unplayable. Yeah.
One thing, just to circle back, because I realized we didn't we forgot in the same way we did on Models. We didn't actually say what type of scaling she uses.
Fair.
Nuah is a deals magical damage.
Yeah.
And she is an int scaling character.
So-
She scales just off int.
Full
She
magical,
has-
full int.
You obviously see there's a lot of in-hand potential.
there's no
you could flex
strength?
around with that as well, but everything is largely int scaling based.
How's the crit Nuah been doing in internal playtesting, Pompon?
I mean, I think everyone's just been favoring the standard. I drop a clay soldier on someone and blow them up instantly.
It is good.
That's very
classic.
effective. It's hard to compete with that level.
Wait,
Yes,
she has
the
0 in
old
scaling
gold.
or 0 strength
All
scaling
right,
in her
cool.
kit.
Like you
then
said, we're making
it's
a lot
probably
of
pretty
gods
hard to
fun
build
and
her strength.
exciting, but some of them a little
At
too
all.
fun and exciting. So let's get into some balance, starting with a few nerfs actually. So Mordred hit the
New God OP, right? New God OP.
New God
Everyone
OP.
agrees, New God OP.
Yeah.
Actually, Mordred's not that OP.
No,
So he's getting some smaller nerfs here just to his passive.
Yeah.
Slowing down his wrath gain. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a passive amount that he was getting that's lowered, and then just the amount he's getting from when he deals damage is a little bit lower, just to lower the frequency of that charge ult.
The scary heartbeat ult. Yeah,
Right.
got it. All right.
That thing is terrifying.
It is terrifying. So Ares up next, been a little stronger.
Mordred
so we get a-
nerfed? Why did
Yeah,
he
so
get
even though we talked about, I'll
nerfed?
let you talk about Ares, but before, just high level.
How does that character
talked
get
about tank.
nerfed?
itemization and tank like as an archetype.
Yeah.
But there's still some tanks that we need to nerf, and usually there are some specific damage features of tanks we need to nerf. I saw one being talked about a lot in the chat. We're talking about it. Don't worry, we're going to talk about it too. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Paul.
I know which one you're thinking of.
So Ares, just Blessed Armaments is this aura that he really provides a lot of strength and intelligence to his team.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of like an invisible level of power that makes him very, very effective. And so rather than just nerf it, because it was causing him to be very successful, we wanted
They should
to
nerf
the
Ares
amount that
chains
he
in
gives
his
other people,
passive,
but
but
keep the
buff
amount he
his
gives
ult.
himself at 100%.
Or change how his ult
his
interacts,
internal
because he's
strength will remain
OP.
unchanged, but the amount that
He's
he's
very
actually
OP
buffing his
when it
team
comes to
will-
early
is gonna
game
go
with his
down,
chains
just to
and
make
his
sure that
passive,
it is this constantly
but
on effect.
he's definitely not
providing
great
a lot
late
of
game for
power,
how his ult
still
works
very,
and,
very effective. Just going to be a
how
bit
much
more
he can get
reasonable.
blown up.
That makes sense. So again, New God Broken, Jingwei coming up next with some nerfs and a little bit of a fix to her agility.
One big fix / buff, which is hard to put. We wanted to get it in there anyway, even though by most accounts this is the strongest god in the game
Staff
right now.
and Mirrodin with
by
Nuah
most
free.
accounts. So we're doing a couple
Or-
different nerfs. So
wait.
let's see. That's a fix,
perm
so just a
AoE.
text fix. Explosive bolts cooldown increase. We know that the explosive bolts is a big point of discussion for her.
For sure.
That was her new feature though, so we don't just want to like rip that right out. So
Yeah.
we're looking at some nerfs to it. Her ability
I'm like-
3 is.
I
gonna
mean,
be
I don't think
adjusted
this
in its,
patch is like
the
fucking
agility,
God's
adjusted
gift
its
to
ability,
Earth.
so the speed
but, like,
of the dash is
so far it's
specifically to
been
make
pretty
it feel more
good.
like Smite 1.
Got it.
I like
You'll still be able to
the
control it,
map
but we
changes
make
on
it
the
a
art
faster,
and everything.
snappier,
Like I just
what it was intended.
there's just not enough like
and we added another text fix for there, and then
like,
airstrike.
they can only do so
damage.
much.
So like the
you
real
know?
direct nerfs to Jingwei is the cooldown.
Like
and
everything,
damage on the
anything
ult,
bad
and,
about Smite 2 can be
many,
explained
many
by the
item
time
nerfs.
crunch that they're
Yes,
dealing with.
variety.
Specifically the crit
Yeah.
damage, which this is like the most crit using god.
Yeah, if this feels light, that's kind of why, right? A lot of the build path for her is being directly
Sadly.
affected, and so she's going to be coming down just as a result of that naturally, let alone anything else we do.
Yeah, similar to how we spoke about Loki earlier.
Yes.
So, awesome.
Pawn, are we going to show anything else in game?
I don't think so, unless you have anything specific you want to see.
Go back to the front end and maybe let's go look at Amaterasu and Nuah's mastery rewards after we do the god.
Ooh,
Dude, I
good
love your
idea.
cheat.
Just a quick look.
Thanks,
They're there.
Bobby.
Yeah.
We have to be careful on Pawn switching
I am,
screens.
yes,
Literally
I am
just check Twitter
very
and saw your
scared about
DM.
that.
Just
but
only go to the one screen and don't
Yeah,
press anything.
I'm-
You'll be fine.
do not switch to me right now. Do
Yeah,
not.
don't go to Pawn yet until we say. All right, who's our next god? on the
Spoilers.
list?
Emir. We have Emir on the list.
Oh yeah, Emir
I think
doing
people
very
are just
well as
expecting
one of the
too
tanks.
much,
His
like-
damage from him, we really wanted to push that face punch Emir to make sure it was good.
It is
We
good.
pushed a little too hard, so we're just walking back that nerf a little bit. We're
Yeah.
nerfing it a little bit more
I don't know.
on
It's
the
hard to say.
strength side than the int side. So we still want him. If you build some int, we want you to
Dude.
feel it. We did
Yeah.
some.
That's not a
adjustments
big enough
with
nerf, dude.
His
It-
ults and stuff like that. In
Frostbite
previous
is
patches
so
to make sure I saw
broken
some
right
clips
now.
of people literally one-shotting each other with full.
That's
int
gonna
gear.
make it
Yeah.
maybe
So we did not
slightly
nerf
less
the
busted, but it's still
passive
gonna be
bonus
busted.
basic attack. This is essentially the bonus basic attack damage he's getting.
Yeah.
And if this looks light to you because it's a small percentage change, again, crit adjustment, that's going to massively affect
Yeah,
this.
The items.
The
will be doing
four,
a lot
there's
of,
four
like,
new
work.
items
So some
with brand new
nerfs to that.
things.
Yeah. So next up,
that you
another
can mess
tank
around
that
with.
I know
That's
was wreaking
cool.
havoc in my games.
There's
Bach is getting a little nerfed.
Two new gods. I guess
Yes.
Alma's pretty much the same. So that's
So
but
we
Nuah is definitely
nerfed
something you
the
can
damage
mess around
from
with.
Chug.
Add a new
from- it
objective.
scaled up to 80,
They
it's
added
now
a
just
bunch
gonna
of art
stop
and
at
cool new
60.
stuff to the
Yeah.
Conquest
So
map.
that's a 20%
Um,
scaling nerf.
a bunch of
It's pretty
nerfs,
big
bunch of
scaling nerf,
buffs.
and belly flop is also getting a pretty big scaling nerf from 60-60 to 40-40.
Yeah, the amount of damage that he
So
was
it's
getting
in
from
half.
building pure
They're cutting
tank
it in
was
half.
just too high. We want when you build pure tank that you do enough damage to impact a fight in a meaningful way, like you feel like you meaningfully contributed. But this was you were able to like actually.
Yeah.
There's
They
also
were- I
you
was
got to
getting
take it like in
absolutely
strides as well, guys,
So,
because there's probably big changes that they're working on that they can't get in for certain patches.
Yeah, so this
that
is
like they
the
probably have like a
Seducer
really cool
is the
change
passive
that's
that
like
will
75% done that they have to keep working on, and then it will come in with like a big patch like the next patch or maybe the one after that, and it could be something huge, you know.
But when it affected the fire
'Cause
giant,
they
it
talk
did
about it all the
percentile
time. They say they have like
fire
things that are in the works already
And
that
if
they
we
just
did
couldn't put in
things
this
like the
patch.
crit, because we also
And some of
wanted
those could be
crit
pretty
because
big
we think
things,
that's
so.
interesting and might open up some interesting avenues of play.
Yeah.
It could crit percentile health damage.
Yeah,
the
for
fire
sure,
giant
Bobby.
For a lot of damage.
I mean, I don't-
That's now been
it's
reduced
not like-
by 80%. It still
it's
means
not-
the damage will show
this patch
up. It
isn't,
still
like,
actually
fucking
contributes
amazing
quite a
by
bit of
any means,
damage,
but it's
this should
it's
no
just-
longer
I think it's still
allow,
cool.
The Morgan to solo the fire giant and Titan.
But I also think a lot of people. I
That
mean,
makes a lot of sense. So
I think a lot of
next
people are
up
just
are
kinda like-
flying samurai. Susanoo getting a nerf.
This god was,
I don't know. People are just biased,
as usual,
I think.
like running rampant. A lot of people who are playing high end ranked. This was one of the top picks, probably the second top pick after Jingwei.
One way or the
just
other, I
two
think people are kind of biased.
straightforward
and I
damage
feel like
scaling numbers. He's going to be heavily affected by the item nerfs.
like even
as well,
some of you guys, like
but we
in
want
my
to make
chat,
sure we,
and I love
we
you. Don't
really
get me wrong,
hit him,
but
'cause he
a
was
lot of you guys who
all
are
over
like
the
already
place. He's got so much utility.
moved on,
CC,
not
and
exactly
damage
moved on,
all
but are
built
in
into
love
one
with a
kit.
different game like
So
Deadlock.
taking down that
I feel like
damage
you're
scaling,
pretty
especially at the top
biased.
end.
That makes a lot of
Trust
sense.
me, I love
So
Deadlock.
we've
The 2
nerfed
days
the
I
nerfs,
played, I
now
think
we
it's a
have
sick
some
game,
buffs
but
that
I
we're
feel like you
gonna
gotta
Yep, that's it for the nerfs. And if any
kind
god
of
that wasn't
realize
on there
that
that you really feel
when
like
you're
needs
talking about
nerfs,
stuff.
we tried our best to convey that we think the items will probably affect them in some way. But there might be some more that needs to happen. I think this patch is going to change a lot. So we'll see if Bacchus needs more nerfs, if Loki needs more nerfs. Those are things we'll be certainly looking really closely at. And the gods we're about to talk about in the buffs, the few that didn't get buffs are going to be, have a better chance because of the better gods getting nerfs.
Yeah.
And and mages specifically
all
not getting nerfed
the
nearly
good
as hard
players
as
left the
hunters,
chat when my stream
maybe coming
dropped.
up a little bit. So if you don't see your
they never
favorite
came back.
god on the buff patch, keep in mind the item
Okay,
changes might help them, and
I
we'll
think
be
I could.
definitely looking closely
I
at
think
them
I have a
for our
spot
next
for you on a
patch.
team
Look for
actually.
that feedback like always, and just those hard numbers. So just play games, and
It's crazy that right now with the reset on the new game, it's like we can almost discuss every single god in the game, every single patch notes. Like we're getting close to them all just through today.
Yeah.
Not literally every one, but like we're close to it. So I just wanted to shout out.
Oh,
those
for
last
sure,
few that I
Gil.
mentioned. All
Valve
right, let's see
is
some
like
buffs.
infinite
All right, so
money
start
hack
getting
compared
off.
to Hirez.
Yeah, this is a big one.
Yeah, Bramble Blast.
Root and cripple now coming back. We had taken it away.
On it back.
We're giving it back.
Easy as that.
Boomcow2 has
It's a
joined
good
the Ponzo
counter
family.
They added the
Welcome.
cripple back to turn
it's a
2.
skill
Let's
shot.
go.
It's narrow, but it has a really strong counter
Bacchus
effect.
does
It's like,
20 less
it
damage
feels
now?
really iconic to him.
Didn't they cut his prot scaling in half?
Makes sense. Give him that power. So besides the
How's that
button,
20 less
Hades also
damage?
getting another buff.
Yep, Shroud of Darkness. We're going to make the fear always direct targets away from Hades. It was random before, which sometimes is favorable, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
But often that randomness can mean that you can't plan around it.
Yeah, no
So
pressure.
having this consistently available way to play around it, and generally moving people away
You're
from
just
you is
going
going to
back
be a
and
bit
forth,
more
just
effective as a
trolling.
whole, because you can better directly control where you want them to go.
Yeah.
Including if you get behind, if you leap and then send them to your team.
Yeah, of course.
This is just going to be a way to better play around it, a more consistent experience.
Yeah, like you
That's
said.
true
more
as well,
predictable.
DK.
So next up, the
I'm still
wait, hold on.
here.
The warrior, the amazing warrior.
Yep.
True.
So basic attack damage being equal across all targets. We have previously had a really hard cleave penalty there.
Yeah.
So we're making this back towards Smite 1.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's
I
a
didn't
real
like that.
buff. This would have fixed a bug where passive strength scaling was causing different damage to deal. Due to the way Pond, do you can
Yeah,
you
so
give more
very,
information?
very yeah. This very early in Smite testing, we had way higher attack damage, and so the cleave. It's kind of a legacy that the cleave was even nerfed in the first place. Now that we've largely brought basic attack damage back down a lot, giving her full damage is good. But because of the way that was previously calculated before and how the cleave was working, especially for early testing, there was a slight error in the calculation, which meant that she wasn't dealing consistent damage on all the cleave targets. That has now been fixed. So now you should expect the cleave to work as it should, is largely what this bullet point says.
I just think that for this game,
Video games
for
require
the majority
math,
of
and
people,
that's
if you
scary
like
and hard.
Smite,
And math's
you
rough.
should
Math is so rough.
play the alpha.
Pond, don't lie to them. They know
Get the
you're
God
a
pack for
mathematician.
$30.
Yeah,
you like
one
the
out
game,
of every like 4
like
million
Smite,
people.
you want to support the
You
devs,
are a shining
and you
star.
can play
Speaking
it.
Of shining
You know,
stars,
maybe
we
play
have
some
Soul
games
up
with your
next
friends
another
for a
buff.
couple hours every often, maybe every so
yeah,
often,
we added
maybe
the
every couple
slow
days.
immunity to the initial
It's not going to be
duration
right
of
now
Zachary.
with
So
the
this
amount
is
of gods and stuff
before
in the
she
game.
turns
It's not going to be a
into
game that you can play for
solar
6-7
ball,
hours a day,
camping
grind
damage.
ranked, and be. I don't
That
know.
matches
you
my one. This
maybe
just
maybe
gives
if
her
all you
that
care about is like
ability to
getting
make sure that
SRs
she's
and
not being, she can kind of be
But, like,
evasive.
Nice.
just slowly
Next
support
up
the
a buff
game,
from my
slowly
favorite
play the
god you
game.
click
You'll
on
have
during
fun
the
because the
beginning
game
match
itself
lobby.
is fun.
Zeus.
It's just going to lack some content.
This is a cool one.
So
Bringing
that's why you probably should be
cooldown
grinding.
on
You're just going to
ultimate
get burnt out
really
very,
low.
very fast.
Yeah, that is cool.
And then
Like, we
slowly
don't
but
usually go
surely,
that
with
low on
good
ultimates. There's a
patches,
few
small
exceptions, but
or big
we're doing that for
patches,
Zeus as well.
like by the time it's in open
this
beta, or by the time
just
it's free,
makes the
by the time it's free,
frequency.
it'll be
People get
freaking
out
sick.
of it a lot. You have to really do a lot of setup to make
It's
it
gonna
good,
take some time,
but
though.
being able to use it a lot more often will be really strong.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, as one of the mages that was struggling a little bit more this patch, I think this is a really cool change, and we're excited to see where he goes. And
Smite
you can always
2
still just
third?
play him full crit. Too,
That's
which is actually
crazy.
pretty good.
Yeah, and the ult's visually impactful, so at least you get the glory of seeing it more often. So, well, unless you're the enemy.
Well, it's funny. It's funny because
Neath up
people
next,
say,
Broken Weave.
I've heard people say that about
She is
Deadlock
one of
as
our
well. So
hybrid
it's-
characters where she can go either strength or intelligence.
Yeah, she works well.
The Broken Weave passive really only gave her intelligence when she did the explosion scaling damage.
Yeah.
And so this just makes it so that she also gets strength scaling as well. So when you are
Sheesh.
going
Buff
more
back to Doomer.
standard kind of in hand hand crit focused or proc focused build, it's just going to be more effective. It's going to.
What did they do to
Soul?
Soul? Sorry, I was yapping.
So limited to one side of the scaling tree.
Sounds good. That's one of the reasons I love Neath. I love that going either build style. So.
And I think we saw like strength Neath was actually like really underperforming compared to Neath. So this also should help even that balance out.
Yeah. Ability burst is fun to build.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Athena up next with Reach.
No longer affected by in-hand slow when throwing Reach. This is another Smite 1 parity change, isn't it?
Yes, I believe it is.
We tried to call out as many of those as we could, but we missed it on this one. But yeah, again, just makes the passive feel better, and it feels it's what you're used to, right? So it felt just unnecessarily punishing in Smite 2. So
yeah, feels more natural to what your experience is.
Yep.
So last but not least, for God buffs, we have on her with Impale.
Yep, Impale's just getting a base damage increase. He lost a lot of base power. Some of that is because you get strength now as you level up.
Yeah.
The strength scaling contributes to it, so it's not as low as I think people were comparing between the two. But this should even the gap and just make it so that, especially early game, that extra 15 damage matters a lot for wave clear. Might be the difference of losing an auto attack. It's just going to help you burst people down. Just helps him out overall.
Yeah.
There's a lot of community feedback that he felt like the lowest performing hunter. So, Impale feeling like it really is meaningful damage is one of the most important things making on her feel strong.
Yeah.